Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it's time for another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, it's time for that Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard live stream show, and we're excited. Hopefully, you are too for a special Father's Day episode of our live stream show. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there and those role models in kids' lives and single mothers acting as fathers and everybody who is important in a child's life. So big shout out to everybody out there for this special holiday episode of the live stream show. I want to first start out by thanking our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle for making this possible. 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't stopped by and seen our friends at Gator Gyms, make sure you do so. And also, they wanted to put a note out there. They are hiring. So Gator Gyms is keeping an eye out for hardworking, knowledgeable folks who are interested in the fishing industry, who are helpful, who might want to help people out, learn a little bit about fishing. Gator Gyms, really awesome people, great team over there. So if you're looking to get a job at a tackle shop, Gator Gyms is hiring. So stop by, tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you, and also stop in and check out their killer deals. So big shout out to our friends at Gator Gyms. Also a huge shout out to all of those sending stars tonight. We appreciate you guys. We had Kim Hutnick, Stephen Batchelor, Jasmine Marie, Craig Robinson, Todd Stutzman, James McCullum with the big 500. Thanks, buddy. Richard Blazak, what's up, my man? Ryan Kelly, Tim McCardle, Sean Gossier, what's up, dude? Big 530. Appreciate you, Sean. Louis Canaveri, Jason Richmond, Michelle Holler. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and hanging out with us and helping to fuel our live stream show. Also want to give a shout out to our supporters out there who also make this possible and really drive to make things special for us. Really appreciate all our supporters in our supporters group. So thank you so much as well. Want to make sure everybody knows how to get a chance to win free stuff. Who likes free stuff? Everybody likes free stuff, right? If you want a chance to win some free stuff tonight, make sure you first like the post. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you share it, and then make sure you comment at least one time. You do have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to have a chance to win. Man, you pull up YouTube, dude, and all those gun videos come popping up, and it just totally loses my train of thought. I saw a 50 caliber Glocks zoom by on the screen, and that totally lost me. So what was I saying? Make sure you comment on the video. Make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from. We appreciate it. Also, don't forget to share it to your favorite fishing group, and make sure you tell your friends. We appreciate it. It's always super helpful. Then with that, make sure you sit back, relax, and watch the show live. In order to be eligible to win, you do have to comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, and then you have to watch live, because if you're picked as one of those lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen. If you don't text us, then you don't get to claim that free trip. So text us within 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. So you have to watch the whole show, and you have to comment at least one time. So with that, let's get into the show and show you what we've been catching. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the weather. Then we're going to answer your questions live during the show. If you do have a question you want answered live, make sure you drop it into a text. That phone number is at the bottom of the screen there. So drop it into a text, shoot it over to us. We'll answer it live during the show. So let's get into those photos. First things first, we have a viewer submission photo. This was sent over to us. This is a beautiful cobia from our friends over at Hingham High Charters at a shrimp landing north of us in the Crystal River area. Real good folks over there. Big fat cobia from one of their recent trips. Beautiful catch for sure. All right. Some nice redfish action in the back bay has been popping off. Our friends over there at Salt Strong have been sharing some beautiful Beautiful redfish photos. Those soft plastics chasing the redfish are chasing them pretty well. Also that cut dead bait up in the mangroves underneath the shade working really well. We're seeing a lot of those redfish moving around those sandy and mangrove shorelines and grassy shorelines. We're seeing a lot of snook moving around the passes, really active in the back bay, especially around those flats. We had that last quarter moon last weekend. A lot of slower moving tides, but a lot of people were focusing on those choke points, those bridges, those creek mouths, river mouths, areas where tides constrict and water moves a little faster. Definitely helped to entice those snook to feed a little bit better for us, and we saw a lot more snook action that way. Also, we saw a lot of snook around the flats, the mangroves, a lot of schoolie-sized fish. They were real active on the beach, but that west wind pattern has pushed a lot of grass up on the beach, making it difficult to target them on our beaches. So a lot of folks have moved into the back bay and dock lines and passes, had a lot of good luck on the snook there. A little bit further back from the bay, trying to hide from all that grass that's blown up on our beaches. We're seeing a lot of those black drum around the bridges, still deep bridges, soaking big dead baits, big shrimp, big crustaceans, cut crabs, all good options. Lots of nice trout action. They're moving into that deeper water, 5, 6, 7, 8 foot. Definitely a good option for the trout. And that's about it inshore. We're going to work our way near shore and offshore now and show you guys what we're catching a little deeper. We got a lot of photos to show you out deep. We're seeing a lot of these big fish on our 39 and 44-hour trips, our 12-hour extreme trips. Really seeing a good grade of fish. Also, some bait fish too. Those bonita working real well. We're catching a bunch of them on the hub near shore and trolling on the way out on our longer range trips, making great bait for those red snapper and also the red grouper too. We're seeing these red grouper. This is from a 10-hour all day. So we're seeing a handful of those keeper red grouper on our 10-hour all day. Big scamps out deep on our 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, 44-hour. Here is 2 beautiful scamp grouper from a recent 12-hour extreme. We are still seeing the occasional hogfish, which is really, really nice. Seeing some nice hogfish sprinkled in there on our 5-hour half days and 10-hour all days. There's another nice hogfish. Happy young anglers, nothing beats that. Seeing a good variety of fish for sure, and pretty decent hogfish bite this past week, as you can see here. Some big lane snappers, just monster lane snappers as of late. Seeing quite a few of them around near shore on our 10-hour all day. We're also seeing some big mangrove snapper even near shore. This one, believe it or not, is from a 10-hour all day trip. So big mangrove snapper. This is a 12-hour extreme catch, a boat limit of red grouper and red snapper. Literally 32 red snapper, 32 red grouper, and then a bunch of vermilions, porgies, and a couple scamps mixed in. Absolutely insane catch recently on that 12-hour extreme trip. There's a true sheep's head porgy. We see these from time to time, always pretty cool, caught near shore. Here's a Hub private fishing charter. I believe this was a 6-hour trip. Really, really nice catch for near shore waters on the Hub private charters. Captain Seabass there. Seeing some nice red grouper on the 10-hour all day. Definitely plenty of them out deeper on the Flying Hub 2 on those long-range trips and long-range private charters. Even near shore, you can see it hasn't been this calm in a while, unfortunately. Been rough the last couple days, but start of this week was beautiful. It was really funny to me, and we were joking about it today. We had such good weather the last 3.5, 4 weeks, and it's been pretty slow around the marina. Like, barely enough people to run trips every day. Really light loads, and now people are here. There's a ton of people in town, and the weather sucks. Very frustrating. But it's all part of it, man. And unfortunately, we're dodging the weather right now. We're going to talk about the weather here in a second, but still celebrating all the great fish we caught before the weather went bad. As you can see, the bite has been on fire. Again, These photos are from the last few days, man. It's been crushing it out there. We've really been doing well. It's a great time to get out there on the water and enjoy plentiful trips. We have a bunch of photos for you just because of the volume of people that are going out on the boat right now. We just have so many more people, so many more trips, and so many more options available, making it that much more easy to showcase all the great fish that we're catching right now. So definitely a good time to get out there on the water when the weather has allowed us to get out there, and that's been the challenge, right? Getting out there. So let's get into the weather and show you guys what's going on weather-wise. Josh, could you bring up the super chat on OBS too when you get a second, once we pull up the weather? So let's look at what's going on weather-wise on our Hubbard's Marina weather page. So we're going to pop on over here to the Hubbard's Marina website page. Once you go to the Hubbard's Marina page, you're going to click Fishing Trips, and then once you click Fishing Trips, oh wait, what's this? This is the pop-up on our homepage. Make sure after the show, not right now, but make sure after the show, go to hubbardsmarina.com, check out that pop-up. Make sure you give us a vote. Voting is on right now. It's open for Best of the Best. That is Tampa Bay Times Best of the Best. It's running daily until June 21st. So you have 3 more days that you can vote for us for Best Fishing Charter, Best Local Tourist Attraction, and Best Seafood Market. We're also nominated under a bunch of other categories as well. We really need your help. We want to win Best Fishing Charter of Tampa Bay, Best Local Tourist Attraction, and Best Local Seafood Market. So make sure you go to our website. On the homepage, you'll see that pop up. Then, under Fishing Trips, click Weather Links, and that's going to bring you to our Weather Links page. Want to quickly give a shout-out to some of those star senders we've been having as well. Tim McCardle, Jason Richmond, Tim Dykes with a big 600 stars. Appreciate you, man. Katrina McDougall, Samuel Lang with the big 490. Thanks, buddy. Missy Rhodes, Brian Eakins. Whoa, Rich Fletcher with the big 900. Thank you, my friend. Nathan Alboom, appreciate you as well, my friend, with the big 500. Thanks, guys, so much for the stars and the support. We're going to pop over here to the Wind Finder forecast, scroll down to that 12-hour extreme, 39 and 44-hour area. This is going to bring up our St. Pete offshore buoy. I also like going to the map here. Let's go to the map as well. So this one, we're going to open this one. Oh, it's not going to let me do it that way. Nope. Interactive maps. Always make it a challenge. Why can't I click forecast? There it is. Just had to zoom out a little bit. So this is the 106-mile buoy. This is our northwest buoy. It's not actually linked on our Weather Links page here anywhere, but you can always go to this first one that says Find Your Own Weather Station, and that's going to take you to that map that I was just on. And this one up here, which is northwest of Johns Pass, this one is the 106-mile buoy. This one over here, we never look at. We're never going to get that far. This is 106 nautical miles, basically, from Johns Pass. So this one's the one that we look at sometimes. This is like North Middle Grounds. I don't know how Josh is doing that with the mouse, but whatever. That's why he makes big bucks. Thank you for the help. So as you can see here, just quickly glancing at it, you can see it's going to calm down a little bit today and tomorrow, and then it's going to puff up a little bit Tuesday, Wednesday. Definitely looking a little brutal there Tuesday, Wednesday. We have that super light load 39-hour trip. Haven't made a decision to cancel yet. It's not too terrible, but it's also getting pretty rough. This is getting borderline for sure. So we're keeping a close eye on this for our 39-hour. It would really, really stink to have to cancel one of those. But unfortunately, the weather is outside of our control, and hopefully this will break down a little bit for us. It has been slowly creeping up, and hoping this falls back down. But this is what we're looking at this week. Really, really kind of stinky, right? Tomorrow is going to be the nicest day. Tomorrow's the nicest day until the weekend, basically. So going to be a breezy work week. Really the best opportunity to get out there is going to be tomorrow. tomorrow, Monday. Even near shore, this is the Egmont Key forecast. Mondays, west winds 10 mile an hour, basically seas 2 to 2.5 foot. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be a solid 4 foot, 15 to 20, 20 to 25 Tuesday. And then Thursdays, a lot of the same. Even Fridays, not really great either. So really, really tough weather conditions. And this is saying even into Saturday, it's going to be kind of crappy. Oh, brutal. So not a great outlook weather-wise, but we are definitely looking like the best opportunity to get on the water is tomorrow. We do have a light load on our afternoon half-day fishing trip tomorrow. We're hoping to slide out there. So going to try to get some trips out tomorrow and get out there to the island and go shelling. We're going out to Shell Key, Egmont Key. Got our dolphin tours, all our fishing trips running tomorrow, and going to just try to make the best when the water is calm. Very, very frustrating weather forecast for this week. So no good news weather-wise other than keeping our... Actually, there is good news weather-wise. Let's go back to the internet. Sorry, Josh, tricked you. All right, so back to the Hubbard's Marina Weather Links page right here on the side. Ultimate storm forecast. Mike's weather page. We're going to pop over to Tropical Tidbits, my second favorite weather website behind Mike's weather page, and then we're going to go to forecast models, and we're going to go switch regions over to, let's go CONUS. I like this one. So you can see here at GFS model, we got a little something brewing, but nothing crazy. And that is what's going to make a lot of this rain potential. You can see it bringing a lot of this rain potential. This is what's causing the rain. This tropical depression, tropical whatever you want to call it. That's what's making the weather stink this whole work week coming up. And this isn't even really talked about. This isn't even listed. If you go to Mike's weather page, they're talking about these waves off of Africa still. So this is the one everybody's been talking about. This has been talked about now for 3 or 4 days, the one coming off in Africa, and there's another one behind it. This one, this red one that looks kind of formidable, is supposed to strengthen really fast. And when storms strengthen really fast, they pull north. They pull to the poles. Weaker storms tend to make it further into the Caribbean, and that's when it gets dangerous. When they get further into the Caribbean, they track more westerly. When they track more westerly and they get into the Caribbean, that warm water strengthens them, and that's what shoots them north into the Gulf. So as long as they strengthen early, they take a turn, and they don't bother the Gulf. They don't bother Florida. If they don't strengthen early, they ride into the Caribbean, and that's when they can strengthen and really kind of screw us. This little thing, this little pretty princess down here, let's switch regions so you can see it a little better. Southeast United States. So this guy right down here is not even being talked about. That's 1,008 millibars. So it's not even really a tropical depression, but that is a tropical trough for sure, and has the potential to form, but it doesn't really have any conducive upper level atmosphere. But look at all this rain. So this is now, and this is through the course of the next week, all that nasty rain. And that's what's causing all the weather this week. So, positive news, weather-wise, is this little red guy that everybody's freaking out about is going to go away from us, not bother us. But we've got another wave in the Gulf that's going to bother us that no one's really even talked about. This little yellow guy behind the red guy, he's 2 weeks out, but something to watch for sure. So that's the long or the short weather-wise. It's time to give away a free trip, isn't it, Josh? I almost closed that, didn't I?
That's why I pulled it away.
That's funny. All right, so let's give away a free trip. We're going to give away tonight a 5-hour half day for 2, a 10-hour all day for 2, a Hubbard swag pack, and that 39-hour fishing trip for 1 lucky winner. So hopefully everybody's ready to win a free trip. Hopefully you've commented one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Hopefully you've liked us on YouTube. You've subscribed on YouTube. You liked our Facebook page. You follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Hopefully you're a die-hard Hubbard's Marina family member. All right, let's see who won a free. Let's give away the 10-hour all-day. 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Pete, what's going on, man? Our friend Pete and his wife Christine, very long-time guests and Hubbard's Marina supporters as well. So big shout-out to you, Pete, and your wife Christine on that lucky 10-hour win there. All right, let's see who we've got question-wise. It is time to get into your questions. Remember, if you have questions tonight, make sure you text us. You got to text us at the phone number on the screen in order to have a chance to get your question answered live during the show. So let's see who has got the first question of the night for us, and we'll get rocking and rolling. When is the air conditioner going to be fixed on the 39-hour trips? We've had the AC guy out every day, my friends, and it's very frustrating. So at this point, we bought 2 new AC units, and we only need 1. We're only having problems with 1, but we went ahead and bought 2 since the other one that is working well right now is the same age as the one who's not working well. So we've had an AC guy out every possible opportunity, but unfortunately he's not making any headway. So we've just decided to go ahead and buy a new unit. And 40 grand later, they told us it's going to take them about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get the units here. So we are working on getting different AC guys to look at this very unique water-cooled system. Because it is on a boat, because it is water cooled, there's really only 1 or 2 specialists in the area that work on that sort of system. So very frustrating for sure, but we're getting there, and we're working hard at it. All right, we've got our friend Mike Anderson on the line for our inshore fishing report. Then we're going to get into more of your questions. So pause on that thought. All right, let's see here. Mike, what's up, buddy? Is he there? What's up, Mike? We are still getting Mike connected. While we wait. Oh, there he is. What's up,
There
man?
you are.
What's up,
How are you,
dude?
buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm good. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir. Same to you. Same to you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, just spent some time with the kids here this evening. Got a little dinner fed to me.
Nice.
Feeling dad-like. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful, beautiful. My Father's Day was yesterday. I've been working all day today, but it was cool. Bass Pro, man. I had no idea Father's Day was like Black Friday on steroids at Bass Pro. I was going to buy some reels, and I was like, no, never mind. I'll come back.
Not
Dude,
today.
Yeah, man, the line wrapped around the store. It was crazy. For those of you who have been Bass Pro Tampa, the line started at the cash registers and wrapped all the way back to the gun department. It was crazy.
Wow.
It looked like they were waiting in line for a roller coaster. It was nuts. It was nuts. I was like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna leave this reel here for next time. But it was cool. We had a lot of people attending the speaking engagement, so I think that's gonna become an annual thing. Definitely a Father's Day speaking engagement. That was cool. They ran out of chairs twice over, so definitely a fun way. Yeah, man.
Well, you are Dylan Hubbard, so the people line up for you.
I wouldn't go that far. But how's fishing been, man?
You know what? I mean, last week was tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think all in all, it was a tough week. We had some west wind, and that pushed a lot of extra water in. It was just, we were supposed to have high tides anyway because we were coming towards, tonight's new moon. But the tides were higher than even expected because of that west and southwest wind.
Mm-hmm.
So that made it tough. The bait got squirrely. Bait was hard to come by. It was an interesting new moon, to say the least. And obviously, Friday was kind of a wash. I know some guys tarpon fished at Albert tarpon tournament to benefit Tampa Bay Watch there, but that was a pretty tough go too, from what I heard. So, just really kind of tough conditions this weekend. Looks like tomorrow is going to be a little bit calmer, but I still think everything's going to be so stirred up that it's going to be a little tough. And then it looks like Tuesday the weather goes south again. So it's kind of an interesting stretch here weather-wise for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that tarpon tournament, dude, did you hear what happened to our Hall of Famer?
I did. Dude, I did hear.
She called into the radio show and told us about it. That was scary stuff, man.
Yeah, that's. I was telling Miss Beth about it. I'm like, that's crazy. She's such a. It goes to show you that anything can happen. Lisa Fitzgerald is as an experienced angler as you'll find. I mean, tarpon tournaments, kingfish tournaments, redfish tournaments. She's guided. I mean, she's a great angler, and to have a mishap that quick that could have been much worse than what it was is kind of crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
It's scary stuff. For those listening, Lisa Fitzgerald is in charge of the CCA Star Tournament. She's a very winning tournament angler, so much so she was the first ever angler to be inducted into the Florida Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. So pretty wild. She's very, very well known, legendary, really. And she was fishing a tarpon tournament. It was rough. She was using a spinning reel with braided line, and a tarpon bit really kind of quickly, unexpectedly. Lines started peeling out of the reel. She went to try to close the bail, and as she did that, the boat lurched forward on a wave, and her hand got caught in that braided line that a tarpon was screaming out. And the braided line literally almost ripped the tip of her finger off. And if it wasn't for fingernails, she wouldn't have the tip of her middle finger. So scary stuff, and it just goes to show you how quickly bad things can happen if you're not paying attention out there. So really, really dangerous.
No doubt.
And the coolest part of the story, I don't know if you heard this part, Mike. So this happens to this lady angler in the middle of a tournament on a boat. The tarpon bites hot. They take her to the boat ramp. She goes to the emergency room. They stop the bleeding. They put the stitches on her. She goes back to the boat ramp, gets back on the boat, gets back on the tarpon to finish the tournament. Did you know that part?
I did, and it's not that. None of that surprises me. Not out of Lisa Fitzgerald. It doesn't. Out of just about any other angler, man or woman, I would be like, whatever, your day's done. You'd be like, I'm not going back out there. It's snotty. It's blowing 30. But for Fitzgerald, nope, not shocked. Nope, not shocked. I've fished with her many times. She's a fighter. She's a dog. So, and I think they finished third in the tournament. So,
wow.
And there's a lot of boats that fish that tournament. So, it's a pretty interesting story for sure.
Crazy for sure. Definitely something to write home about.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, that, the west wind that we've had here the last couple of days is going to make that tarpon bite really, really, really tough here. We're kind of getting to the latter part of the season, and especially on this new moon, you hate to see that big front come in and kind of make things, difficult for anglers to get out there and enjoy the last big, one of the last big moons. I mean, we still get a good run in July and August as well, but it's really the meat of it is May and June. To lose out on that with this weather just stinks. I don't know what the deal is and why we're getting so much wind here, but looks like it's just stacking up to be one of those years where we're going to be challenged.
Man, tell me you didn't watch the weather report without telling me you didn't watch the weather report. We just explained why.
What's that?
I said we just explained why we're getting so much weather.
I know. I know why it is. I'm just not happy about it.
We can still complain about it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You're right. You're right. So we have a question. I'm glad you called. One of our guests is asking an inshore question about soaking the cast net in fabric softener. And I've thrown a cast net just a handful of times in my life, so this one's beyond my prowess. So it's actually an interesting question I wanted to ask you myself. The question is, I have a new cast net, and I'm currently soaking it in fabric softener. Is it best to rinse the net off with fresh water when I remove it from the fabric softener?
100%. make sure you rinse it good. You don't want that soap to end up in your live well.
That makes
Or
sense.
all over those baits. It is something that I've done on a regular basis. I have a tub that just is in the garage just for that reason. Every now and then, especially tarpon season,
Yeah.
I have certain nets that I use for catching thread fins. They just drop faster. They got bigger holes, and those nets they get stinky. I mean, they get crisp from use and wet and dry, and they'll crust up on you, and they'll just get a little stiff. That fabric softener is a great tool. Get you a tub, soak it for a couple hours, let that fabric softener get in there. It kind of reinvigorates your net. As everybody knows, cast nets aren't cheap, even if you're buying the production models versus the customs, like Mahoney's Custom, which is, in my opinion, the best net on the market. But even the production ones, soak them in that fabric softener, but then lay them out. I always throw mine, open it up, get a nice, pancake in the yard there, and just hose it down. Give it a really good wash down. You can even soak it a little bit in that fresh water just to make sure that you get that soap out of there before you put all that in your live well. It'll make a big difference for you.
Huh. All right. So when you soak it in fabric softener, are you watering down that fabric softener? I assume.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. You just fill. I've got a big bucket. I don't know what it is. Probably 15 gallons, 20 gallons. I put the cast net in there and I fill the bucket with water. And then all you have to do is take like a capful of the fabric softener and put it in the water and let it do its thing. Let it sit in there for a couple hours. It takes all that stink out of there from all the
So don't use
scales
the whole bottle of your wife's fabric softener.
No. Yeah, no. And, well, I wouldn't use your wife's fabric softener at all.
I would
I have a bottle that just stays in the garage, and I use a cap at a time just to reinvigorate my net. So
smart man. So someone asks what brand? It doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just get the cheapest fabric softener you can find. Don't spend any money on it. It's not an issue.
Hellman's mayonnaise.
What's that?
Sorry, different subject, but
just get the cheapest. Get the cheapest you can find. I mean, it's just for the cast. It's not for your, it's not for your favorite shirt. So, just get the cheapest bottle you can find. You can get it at the dollar store, even and it'll work just fine. And it'll work great. It'll soften that net up. You're gonna let it soak, like I said, for a couple hours, and then the key is to just make sure you rinse it good. Because otherwise, as you get it wet again, especially on the first couple of throws, all that fabric softener is still in there because you didn't rinse it. It's going to end up with those baits in your live well, and your bait's going to die.
Interesting. All right. Well,
yeah.
There you go.
You don't want soap. You don't want a bunch of that soap in your live well. And if you just hit it with a hose, like I said, spread it out in the yard, spread it out in the driveway, and just rinse it good with a hose. You don't have to blast it. Just rinse it off good, even if you put your hose nozzle on like a shower mode. So just make sure you get that all out of there, and you'll be amazed. It makes it a lot easier to throw too. They open up a lot better when they're soft. It's really a cool old trick that I've been doing for years.
If I drove by someone's house and I saw a grown man in the yard throwing a cast net with like his bottle of fabric softener next to him, I'd think he's crazy.
No, I'm catching crickets, dude. I'm out front catching crickets.
Yes, I remember that story. That's a good story.
That's right. Catching crickets. Just catching crickets.
You were broke down on the side of the interstate, right? And you were throwing the cast net with Billy as like a cast net competition, killing time.
The funny part of the whole thing really was Billy's Jeep Grand Cherokee caught on fire.
Okay, solid.
We were headed for a tournament in Jacksonville, and we were towing Billy's Ranger flats boat up to Jacksonville to fish the IFA, and his Jeep caught on fire. So we had to unhook the boat quick, push the boat back. We had to call the wives to come get us, and while we were waiting on them to come get us, and we're watching Billy's Jeep burn to the ground, we decided to throw the cast net and get me some practice. And as we were on the side of the road, I'm throwing the cast net. This good old boy, pulled up in a big old pickup truck, and he's like, "What y'all doing?" And Billy turned just as quick as he could. It was funny because I was like, "I'm not sure this looks weird." I mean, here we are on the side of the road throwing cast net, and Billy was like, "Catching crickets." And I'm like, "Dude, where did that come from?" He goes, "I don't know. I didn't know what to tell the guy." Catching crickets. I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we're doing." So yeah, that I'll never forget it. It was a classic. So I was pretty new. It was a long time ago. That was 25
That was back when you
26
were
years ago.
towing boats with Jeep Grand Cherokees.
Well, and then Billy was in his Ranger flats boat that I think was 18 or 19 feet long, and that was his guide boat. A lot of us were guiding out of flats boats back then.
Wow.
So I wasn't even a captain yet. That was before my captain's license. And July's 23 years I've been guiding, so it's longer than that ago.
So you were actually learning how to throw a cast net, essentially.
I might have been. It was probably exactly what it was. Is I was like, we're standing here doing nothing. I might as well get some practice in to learn how to throw this cast net better. And here we are on the side of the road catching crickets.
Funny story. Well, I appreciate it, brother, as always, and look forward to catching up with you Saturday.
Sounds good, dude. I look forward to it as well, and want to wish all the dads out there a happy Father's Day. And it's the future of our sport is our kids. So remember to take as much time as you can, get them out on the water, get them out in the woods, spend that time with them, that quality time. The next generation of fishing captains, of anglers, recreational anglers, the whole 9 yards, it all depends on us. So we got to, as dads, do our part to make sure these kids are getting outside.
Amen to that, brother. Amen. Well, we appreciate it, and happy Father's Day to you. Enjoy the rest of yours, and tell the family I said hello.
Back at you, brother. I appreciate you. Have a great night. Thank you.
All right. See you, man.
All right, buddy. See you.
Bye. Our office staff is calling my cell phone right now, Josh, and texting me incessantly. Can you text Lula and tell her that I said sure? Go ahead. Thank you. All right, so we heard from Captain Mike, and all things are good inshore, and we got that interesting diatribe on fabric softener, which was kind of interesting. So definitely something I'm not used to myself, so that was cool. I could see it definitely working better. I've heard of it before. Didn't know the intricacies of actually how to do it, but pretty cool for sure. Next question, Barbie asked, do you think the 39-hour will be going out June 23rd? So June 23rd, yes, for sure. Right now, June 23rd is looking pretty good. Weekend actually looks real nice, not bad at all. So hopefully some good opportunities there. Just this week, Tuesday through Friday looks bumpy, but it looks a lot better this coming weekend for sure. What is this week look like? What's this week look like around 125 feet? So I'm sure you're asking about the weather, and we kind of talked about that earlier, so I assume that was a weather question. All right, let's see what other questions do we have tonight. Using a Nomad DTX trolling lure on the 39-hour, but it won't stay below the water. It keeps popping out of the water. Do I need to use a planer? No. A Nomad DTX minnow should definitely stay below the water. It's probably got some damage to the lure that's causing it to come out of the water, or potentially you're using too heavy line. Like if you're using 100 or 125-pound leader, maybe that's causing it to come out of the water. Creating too much drag, but really those Nomad DTX minnows, they get trolled at 18 knots without a planer. You definitely don't need a planer on those Nomad lures, for sure. Let's see. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there and all the women who put up with us. That is very, very true. Amen to that one. My wife is a saint, that's for sure. I left for work this morning at 4 a.m. and stopped home for like 15 minutes. And she definitely puts up with a lot from me, for sure. What pound line do you prefer when trolling on the 39-hour trip? Personally, you only need about 80-pound line to troll. And really, the 39 and 44 hours are bottom fishing trips. We're bottom fishing for reef fish, right? So we're not really focused on pelagics. You do have a chance for pelagics, but it wouldn't be something that I'd recommend focusing on, especially if you haven't done those 39-hour trips before. If potentially you're doing your first one, I would focus on really trying to catch as many bottom fish as possible. and getting your rest on the ride out, so that way you're able to fish hard the whole time we're bottom fishing. Because if you get too wrapped up in trolling on the way out, you're not going to have enough sleep and enough rest to really grind hard all the way through the bottom fishing part. So I would stay focused on bottom fishing, but to answer the question, 80-pound line is plenty for trolling on the way out on a 39 or 44-hour trip. Plan to do it. I'm seeing some questions in the comments as well, guys. Remember, if you have a question, you got to text it in. The comments go really, really fast, and we can't really keep up with them while we're seeing them come through on the chat. So if you have a question, make sure you text it to the phone number on the screen. Let's go ahead and give away another free trip before we get into another question. We did the 10-hour all day. Let's go ahead and do the Hubbard's Marina swag pack first. And then we'll do that 5-hour half day and the 39-hour last. So Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Remember, if you're picked as a lucky winner of the swag pack, you do have to text us your full home address and your t-shirt size so we can mail you out that swag pack, which is a hat, shirt, stickers, and some other Hubbard's Marina goods. So make sure you text us within 5 minutes. Let us know if you're the lucky winner. Missy Rhodes, congratulations on that lucky win of that Hubbard's Marina swag pack all the way up there in Ohio. And congrats, Missy. We will mail you out the swag pack. Make sure you text us your full home address and your t-shirt size so we can get that out for you. Next question. Planning to do a trip down to Tampa Labor Day weekend. Do you think the 44-hour trip would be better than a 12-hour night fishing trip with a 10-hour? So a 44-hour or a 12-hour night and a 10-hour. I would strongly suggest a 44-hour just because you're going to have more fishing time. You're going to be a lot further from shore, and you're going to have that 2-day bag limit. You're going to have a chance for bigger fish. Really no comparison. So I would strongly recommend a 44-hour compared to a 12-hour night and then a 10-hour on top of that. Definitely going to be more fun, in my opinion, to do that 44-hour trip. Have you discussed moon phase for the upcoming week? That was one of the questions I saw in the comments going by too fast. So thank you for texting it in, Michael. No, I did not. I neglected to, and I apologize. So we are on a, I believe yesterday was the new moon. So Josh has already pulled it up here, so we'll show you. Right now, currently, we are on the new moon, basically. We've got a little bit of moonlight, less than 1%, and we are on a waxing crescent. So that means the waxing crescent means it is a waxing moon, or it's getting bigger. And then we're going to be on that first quarter, June 26th, full moon coming up July 3rd. So the new moon, this website saying today, I honestly thought technically it was last night. So June 18th at 12:37 a.m. So it was last night, the new moon. Then the first quarter moon's coming up the 26th. We got the full moon on July 3rd. And then back to it. So basically, once you get into the habit, the new moon, then the quarter moon, first quarter, then full moon. So the new moon and full moon are about 2 weeks apart. So very, very interesting stuff, though. So we're coming up on those moon phases for sure. Let's see if we have any star senders we got to thank here. Double check that. Haven't had any recent. All righty. Next question. Have you discussed the moon phases? Yes, we did. Events. Want to make sure we mention some upcoming events, guys. We've got really, really good stuff coming up. We have our Bass Pro Shop seminar was today. If you missed out, you should regret it. It was a great time. We had a really good turnout. Bass Pro Shops was a little busy, but it was really cool being there. It's always a good time. Stephen Batchelor, appreciate those stars, my man. Thank you, buddy. June 30th, the end of this month, so not this coming Friday, but next, we've got Final Friday, folks. So if you want free crawfish, you want free beer, come join us for Final Friday coming up June 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll see you out there. And then August 1st is the next Real Animals radio show, or Real Animals fishing conversation over there at Bartow Ford. And speaking of Hall of Famers, Lisa Fitzgerald is actually going to be the guest on that August 1st event. So Tuesday night, August 1st, 6 to 8 p.m., Bartow Ford, Lisa Fitzgerald, Captain Mike Anderson, free food from Silver Ring Cafe, lots of free gifts from Bull Bay Rods, from Engel Coolers, and some Real Animal swag. So check it out, August 1st, 6 to 8 p.m. at Bartow Ford. And then besides that, we've got the Mayo shirt. Remember, Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the best in the whole entire world ever, and there's really no other mayonnaise brand you want to mess with. We've got a mayonnaise shirt, the Hubbard's mayonnaise shirt, the Hubbard's Hellmann's shirt. I'm pretty sure we'll definitely get a cease and desist letter if I keep calling it that. Right, Josh? I like it. Hubbard's Hellmann's shirt. Make sure you pick one of these sexy Mayo t-shirts up, because you want to look like the best in the world, you get a Hubbard's Hellmann's shirt. And it's got our Hubbard's Marina family secret recipe that you can only use Hellmann's mayonnaise for on the back of the t-shirt. So check it out. It's a really funny t-shirt, and supports our live stream show efforts. We also have our Off the Hook live stream show t-shirt as well. So if you want to support the live show as well, we've got our Off the Hook t-shirt. So that's pretty cool as well. We got new Hogfish t-shirts. We got a new Hogfish Bones t-shirt. We got a bunch of cool stuff on our online store. So make sure you check it out. And also, in the shop, next time you stop by for a trip, make sure you check it out. Richard Moore, what's up, buddy? 500 stars from Richard Moore. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully you are doing well. Happy Father's Day, Richard Moore, by the way. All right, so we talked about some events. Let's finish up with some more questions. How's that 12-hour night? How's the 12-hour night fishing? The 12-hour night fishing is going really well when the weather allows. The last one got canceled. Unfortunately, the weather was a little adverse. It kind of scared some people off, so we didn't have enough people booked. But looking forward to getting out there again on this new upcoming 12-hour night snapper trip. Always a good time. The fishing has been pretty darn good. Catching a lot of those mangrove snappers, seeing some nice vermilions, porgies, almacos. You got a chance for some red grouper as well. So Tony Barnes, sacrilegious, man. He said he made the Hubbard's Marina family recipe last night, but used Duke's mayonnaise instead of Hellmann's mayonnaise. Josh just deleted his comment. That's funny.
I hit it. I'm suspending him for 15 minutes.
Banned from page. Just kidding, Tony. We wouldn't do that. At least not yet. All right, let's see what other questions we have here tonight. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Don't forget again to give us a thumbs up and a share. We appreciate it. Jasmine, let's see what our next question is. Would you consider adding a 12-hour stream on the giveaways? We have done some 12-hour stream on the giveaways before, but the problem with the 12-hour stream trip is it only allows 16 passengers, and there really isn't a big cushion, or really any cushion, on the ability of that trip to be profitable because of the amount of fuel that the boat burns and how much we pay our captain, our crew, and how much bait and tackle costs. The margin on that vessel is extremely narrow. And really, in all reality, the 12-hour stream is not the greatest trip profit-wise, so we really can't afford to give away a bunch of free trips. If we had a trip where 2 or 3 people used a free certificate, it would hurt. So it really makes it impossible to give away the free trip certificates on those. Whereas on the party boats, we can afford some wiggle room there, and it makes it a little bit easier for us to do a bunch of donations. We do a ton of donations, and basically we have this extremely sophisticated algorithm or an Excel spreadsheet where we try to limit the number of free spots that we give away per month. And we obviously only give away a certain number of spots during our live show. A majority of our free trips and discounted trips go to our charitable efforts. So we really have to balance all that out, right? And that's definitely something we've looked really closely at, is what I'm trying to say. We've looked really closely at it, but unfortunately it's not really feasible to do those 12-hour extreme trips. Every now and again we throw them in, and we're due. We haven't thrown in a 12-hour extreme giveaway for one of these live shows in a while, so maybe we'll do one of those soon, maybe on the backside of red snapper season. But that's why. For the 44-hour trip, do you recommend heavy gear, electric reels? No, the 44-hour trip is exactly like our 39-hour trip. We fish similar areas. We fish similar distances. We fish the similar species. The 44-hour trip just is only offered in and around or on a full moon, and it offers 5 extra hours of night fishing time. So the difference between a 39-hour trip and a 44-hour trip is the 44-hour trip leaves at 10 a.m. It leaves 5 hours earlier. So by the time we get out there fishing, it's 7, 8, and 9 o'clock at night instead of 11, 12, 1 a.m. So we get to our fishing spot about 5 hours earlier. So you have an entire night to fish, and it's on or around very close to a full moon. So you've got 5 extra hours of night fishing time, basically a full night to fish on a full moon. So that's the difference between a 5-hour half day, a 39-hour and a 44-hour. Somebody asked about the live stream cameras. Unfortunately, we had a power outage at the office last night, and I was unaware of it. Josh was unaware of it. And I was only at the office for a short period of time today between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. And we didn't know that the computer was down until after I had already left, and I was in Tampa for my Bass Pro Shop seminar. And Josh, unfortunately, was already at the studio here. So we'll get it up and running tomorrow, guys, around mid to late morning. So apologize for the lapse in the live stream cameras. But we are aware, and we are working on it. What's the largest red snapper to be caught so far this season? So far, it is 21 pounds and change on a 12-hour extreme trip. 12-hour extreme has the biggest red snapper so far. Garrett and Joe are in contention. Joe has the largest weighed red snapper on the 12-hour extreme. Captain Garrett had a photo of one that I think was bigger. And he's confident it was bigger, but it was never weighed. So Joe has the biggest weighed red snapper so far. Let's see what other questions we have. Let's see. Do the Regulars Club member get a discount on their birthday since we don't get the regular birthday discount? You do get a regular birthday discount. I'm not quite sure on that one. There must be some confusion there, but a Regulars Club member or a regular guest gets a free birthday trip. So, for example, on a 10-hour trip, normally for a guest, it's going to be $139 for a 10-hour trip. But if you're a Regulars Club member in our top-level club and you're going fishing 15, 20, 25 times a year, to qualify for that top-level club, you're going to get 50% off that 10-hour trip. So instead of $139, it's half price, or about $70. On your birthday, it's going to be free, whether you're a Regulars Club member or a general guest. On your birthday, as a Regulars Club member, granted, it's still a free trip, but it's a little bit smaller of a discount, I guess. But you got that bigger discount through the year, so it's kind of a trade-off, right? But yeah, Regulars Club members still gets the free birthday trip just like anybody else. Let's see what other questions we have. What happened to the 12-hour night that was only about an hour 2 days ago? What? Oh, what happened to the 12-hour that was only an hour? It made it out there about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and had to turn around, unfortunately. It was just a lot more rough than expected and continue to get rough. I was actually talking about that today at Bass Pro at our seminar. The night before, they were calling about 2.5, 2.8 foot and about 15 mile an hour winds, which is borderline. And then the morning of, they were calling 3 foot, about 15 to 18 miles an hour, which is still borderline, but really pushing it. We decided to go and try to make the trip happen since it was the morning of the trip. People had already drove there, so we tried to go. And we made it out there, and by the time they made it out, it was 3.5 foot and really getting bigger. There was a big storm on the horizon, and it was just decided it was too dangerous. So we turned around and came back and unfortunately had to cancel and refund or cancel and transfer everybody, and guests had to drive home. So very frustrating. We hate to cancel trips. We tried to do it the night before whenever possible, but in that situation we thought we could. The morning of, we thought we could make it happen. Ended up just being a little too nasty for sure. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? Oh, it's time for another giveaway, huh? 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 5-hour half day. Tom James from Ohio, another Ohio winner on the 5-hour half day. We've got the 39-hour trip to still give away tonight as well, so stay tuned. Remember, if you're picked as one of the lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to claim that free trip. What's the depth that a venting tool or descending device is required? You're actually by law required to have a descending device or a venting tool if you're fishing, period, for a reef fish. So technically, the FWC passed that law. So if you're fishing Tampa Bay on one of the bridges, technically you have to have a venting tool and descending device, technically. But when are you going to use it? You would have to kind of play that one by ear once you get out there. Generally, what I recommend doing is when you get to the first spot of the day, we kind of test the waters and see whether or not we need to use the descending device or venting tool at that depth. But generally in the summertime, it's a little warmer. There's less dissolved oxygen in the water, and you're going to have to vent and descend those fish even a little shallower. So in the summertime, it could be 80, 90, 100 foot, and you're going to have to vent or descend fish. Whereas in the wintertime, it could be 110, 120 foot, and you don't have to vent or descend fish. Cooler water holds more dissolved oxygen. Fish are more frisky. They come to life more quickly, and they have a little bit more fight when you get hooked or when they get released. Warmer water, warmer air, fish are much more exponentially susceptible to barotrauma issues. There's less oxygen in the water, so they have less oxygen to breathe. They fight harder, they get tired more quickly, and they're more lethargic when you release them. So very important in the summer to use a descending device or a venting tool and to get those fish up quick, off the hook quick, and back in the water quickly too. That's also why it's harder to keep pinfish alive when the water gets hot. Because when the water's hot, there's less dissolved oxygen and the pinfish die more quickly. So you really got to be careful come summertime in order to try to keep your bait alive. You really want to make sure it's cool, it's in a cooler place, it can't be out in the sun, and it's got plenty of oxygen going into that water. All right, so let's see, what other questions do we have? Is there any discounts for seniors on a 39-hour trip? Unfortunately not. We don't offer any sort of discounted rates on a specialty trip. So a 12-hour extreme, 12-hour night, 39-hour, 44-hour, we don't offer any discounts on those specialty trips. 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day dolphin cruises, we offer those discounted rates for AAA, for seniors, for active duty military, all that stuff. Which fishing trip is best for a rookie fisherman? I was talking about this today as well at Bass Pro. It's always a good idea to start small, start slowly, try a 5-hour half day, maybe then a 10-hour all day, maybe then a 12-hour night. Maybe invest in some tackle and work your way up to those specialty trips like a 12-hour extreme or 39-hour trip. But always a good idea to start small. Try a half-day trip. Even if you're not interested in catching the smaller grunts or gray snapper, it's a good idea just to start small. Make sure you don't get seasick. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you learn how to use the tackle, and then step up and get a little deeper. How cold is the water around 200 foot down on a 39-hour trip? It depends is the answer to that one. We have these things out there in the Gulf called thermoclines. Thermoclines can change based on thermal upwellings, thermal downwellings, and also salinity levels and different topographical aspects of the bottom as well. So it gets really complicated and scientific, but basically every 33 feet is a different atmospheric pressure. So right here at ground zero at sea level, you have 14.7 pounds of pressure, or 1 atmosphere of pressure on your body. And then as you go down 33 feet, you have 2 atmospheres. So what you have at sea level, 14.7 pounds, and then you go down 33 feet, and now you have 29.4 pounds. In every 33 feet, it's adding an atmosphere. So as you add pressures, greater increased pressures makes more density in the water. More density in the water means salt molecules and all those other things floating get more densely packed, and you have a lot of times some areas of lower pressures, higher pressures. You have different currents and opposing currents. You could have a current that's running north and south on the surface level. You could have another current down here that's running east and west. You can have opposing currents through the thermocline. So it gets really complicated, but long story short, a lot of times it's going to be anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees cooler on the bottom, but sometimes it's 30 degrees cooler on the bottom, and that can create some pretty big issues in and of itself, and it can really almost kill fish. If we get into areas in certain times where there's a really bad thermocline, where you can literally drop your lead to bottom, let it sit on the bottom, reel it up, and grab your lead, and it's cold to the touch. And when that happens, that's really bad, because you reel a fish up from the bottom. Not only is he getting dragged to the surface really quickly, but then he goes from really cold temperatures to really warm surface temperatures. Not good for the fish. And it makes it even harder for them to be able to recover, for sure. Let's see here. What other questions do we have here? You need to make a shirt with, I'm not too busy, I went fishing. What does that say? I'm not too busy, I went fishing with Hubbard's Marina. That's a good one. That's a good idea. I think the next shirt that we're going to work on is the one that our staff has been asking about for a really long time. We're still working on our CMF gang shirt, by the way. That's in the works as well, but kind of on the back burner, because we did the off the hook shirt, then we did the Mayo shirt. We're not really selling a lot of them yet, so we got to kind of cool it on our funny shirts. But we definitely want to keep working on the CMF gang shirt. But the next one is probably going to be our Bending Rods and Breaking Hearts since 1928. One of our staff members, Mel, who works with us, she always says that, Bending Rods and Breaking Hearts, because when we have to cancel trips, it really stinks. And it's really a tough decision, hard decision for us. We don't like to do it. And when the ladies in the office have to make phone calls and cancel trips, a lot of times people get really, really frustrated or really upset. And it just is a little frustrating for everybody, right? So they call it breaking hearts when we have to cancel trips. So Bending Rods and Breaking Hearts since 1928. That's going to go on a T-shirt. And kind of like our Lady Angler logo, where it's a fishing pole bent with the line twisting to the hogfish into a heart, something like that. So Bending Rods and Breaking Hearts, but then I'm not too busy, I went fishing with Hubbard's Marina. That's a good idea. We'll have to write that one down. Do many women go out on the 39-hour trip? That's a great question. Normally we average between 2 to 4 per 39-hour trip. This last trip, there was 4 ladies out on the 39-hour trip that were guests, plus we had Tammy, our galley cook, who's a woman as well. So there's 5 ladies on this recent 39-hour trip. So it's in the recent maybe last 3 years, we've seen more ladies, more and more ladies really exponentially going out on those 39-hour trips. So it is definitely becoming more and more popular for ladies to go out fishing, even ladies by themselves going out fishing. But check out the Lady Anglers of Hubbard's Marina Facebook group. They all get together and make plans to go out fishing as well. Mary Atkins just tagged it in the comments, so check it out. Let's see. Nick Nieves, what's up, buddy? I thought you missed the show, my friend. With a big 1,200 stars to say hello. Thank you, my friend. Brian Eakins, what's up, my man? All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? Do we have any other questions, or are we already caught up? Caught up. Nice. We are killing it, man. It's Tuesday's 39-hour going out. Right now, we're planning on going out, but we're keeping an eye on that one closely. We kind of mentioned that during the weather update. We have a 39-hour, we have an upcoming bachelor party planned. And the main question is, most guys are we allowed to bring a 6-pack of beer for each person? First of all, that's awesome, and I like your style. Second of all, as long as you're on a private charter on the Hub or Flying Hub 2, those boats don't have alcohol license, so you could bring alcohol, beer on the Hub or Flying Hub 2 because they don't have alcohol licenses. But be responsible. Tough to do on a bachelor party, but be somewhat responsible. How shallow can I get an American red snapper? You could get one as shallow as 80, 100 foot, but really you want to start looking at about 100 to 120 foot. But that's shallow. 140, 160 foot or more, where you're going to start seeing really good, consistent concentrations of some bigger red snapper for sure. I think we got most of the questions in. Don't forget, we got lots of great 39-hour trips coming up, 44-hour trips, 12-hour extremes for red snapper. Remember that 10-hour trip doesn't quite get out there for those red snapper trips. So you want to get out there and catch a red snapper, book that 12-hour stream, that 39, that 44-hour. Hopefully we're going to make it out there for that light load 39-hour trip, limited load, coming up Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the next day. Keeping our fingers crossed on the weather. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon for some fishing or dolphin cruising fun. Don't forget as well, make sure you tag us, you like us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, all those social media pages, guys. Remember, every morning we're live on Instagram and TikTok around sunrise, then around 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But lately, we've been live right around 6:30, watching the 39-hour offload for the most part. So hopefully you're catching our morning live videos. Hopefully we'll see you soon for some fishing fun. And tomorrow's the day, guys. Tomorrow's the best weather day for the whole week. So hopefully you get a chance to come out and join us tomorrow. We've got a light load on that afternoon half-day trip tomorrow. With that, we're going to wrap things up. We hope to see you at Final Friday, June 30th. We hope to see you for some fishing. Remember, this show is every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Join us every Sunday night for this show at 7:30 p.m. Join us every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for our Real Animals radio show. Join us Friday morning for our Fox 13 news segment. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. If you are a supporter and you're part of our private supporters after show, we're going to start that up around 8:50. So if you're on our supporters after show, join us 8:50 over in the supporters group. If you're not a supporter, become one tonight. It's only $4.99, and it really helps us out. Really helps us to keep doing cool new stuff. And hopefully you guys are telling your friends about this show. Bring us one friend next week. Tell one person this week that they got to watch the show. Tell them how to win free trips. And hopefully we'll see you soon at Hubbard's Marina. Let's find out who won the 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Happy Father's Day, y'all. Let's see who the lucky winner is. D Beers. Congratulations from Riverview, Florida. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Happy Father's Day, y'all. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me on my Father's Day. Hopefully you had a great one as well. And we appreciate y'all. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. Come find out why we're the #1 fishing charter in the country. #1 fishing charter in the country. Help us to be the #1 fishing charter in Tampa Bay. Go vote right on our website, guys. The homepage, you'll see the pop-up. Go vote now. We want #1 fishing charter, #1 tourist attraction, #1 seafood market. Help us win, y'all. We'll see you next week.